Hi, this is Lauren Sanek with Castle Dream Real Estate, bringing you Home Seller, Home Buyer podcast with Home Seller episode number 12, 11 Home Selling Mistakes. Okay, let's get started with those 11 home selling mistakes. Number 1, thinking your home is the exception. It's natural to be emotionally attached to your house, especially if you've lived there for a while. But allowing this affection to obscure realities of today's market is a serious mistake. If your market is declining, you'll need to price your home at a competing level, just as well as if it's increasing. This will require a painful decision to price the property at or comparable to homes in the area, even if the price point is less than what you think your home is worth. There are still sellers out there who think that their house is the exception. They think that the other houses that are on the market are really overpriced. Yet when you get to their house, they think that it should have a higher price because it's better. Overpricing a home because of an emotional attachment only makes selling that property much more difficult. 2, not scouting the competition. Another reason sellers might price a home too high is that they simply are unaware of the dynamics in their real estate market. To sell your home, it's essential to have a firm grasp on the conditions in your area. Sellers should study the pricing trends and sales data in their market, but the data only tells half the story. To fully understand the market, sellers should get a first-hand look at the nearby homes that are also up for sale. I would recommend sellers go look at open houses to see how their homes really compare. 3, not checking your agent's references. An effective, experienced real estate agent can be a big help in selling your home in today's market. Agencies these days are pinching pennies. A lot of them think you just put something on Craigslist and it will sell. And that's not how it works. In today's market, you need to syndicate the information to multiple venues, including the international market, as the foreign national buyer is a big part of sales in certain U.S. markets. 4, not prepping the property. Since buyers have many options these days, home sellers need to ensure that their property is in tip-top condition for a showing. That means making any and all home repairs, ensuring that the indoor and outdoor portions of the property are immaculate, removing clutter. It is a very picky buyer right now, and they are ready to seize on any little thing that they see that may be a reason to reject your house as the one they would want to put an offer in. You want your house to look cared for. 5, being present during open houses and showings. It's important for the sellers to be away. Let me repeat that. It is important for the sellers to be away from the home during open houses and showings, as their presence can be unnerving to would-be buyers. Some sellers have the mistaken idea that they are the best people to sell their house, and that it's absolutely not the case. If a seller remains at home during an open house or showing, buyers will have an uneasy feeling, and that is the feeling that they will take away from the house, which will then eliminate your house from a possible offer. 6, taking negotiations personally. The negotiation process can be tough on sellers, as buyers may demand concessions such as price reductions or help with closing costs. Although such requests may be irksome, it's important that sellers consider them just another part of a business transaction. It is not meant to be personal. The buyer is looking to buy as carefully as they can and pay as little as they can. It's not about you, the seller. It's about them, the buyer. 7, sneering at offers. Even if you aren't crazy about a buyer's offer, don't dismiss it out of hand. You need to be willing to negotiate with anyone and everyone who puts in an offer, even if it is one of those crazy lowball offers. Don't ignore it, because those people might really want the property. Remember, sellers want to get as much for their home, and buyers want to pay the least amount for your home. It's all about negotiating. 8, basing the list price for your home on the list price of other properties. This is probably the most common mistake that sellers make. They look at what other properties are listed for in their neighborhood and base their price on those numbers. This is a huge mistake. To correctly price your property, the only accurate way is to use comparable sales that have closed either for all cash or where a lender has funded a loan. While properties may be selling, many are not closing due to the credit crunch. Appraisals are a huge issue. The reason is that a property worth $200,000 today may be worth $196,000 in 60 days when it goes to close, or it could be worth $205,000. Appraisers are aware of these issues and often set values conservatively as a result. You can obtain comparable sales information online from real estate brokerage sites, Realtor.com, and multiple listing service websites. These online resources are a great starting point. I repeat, a great starting point. The challenge is that they often lack up-to-date sale and/or price reduction data. The best source for comparable sales information is a competent local broker that knows your market, who has access to the most up-to-date MLS data. 9. Basing your list price on what you paid for the property. Many sellers believe that what they paid for the property influences their current sales price. Wrong. They may say, we paid $200,000 for the property 3 years ago, and we have to sell it for at least $218,000 to break even, and that reason is based on a very common fallacy. Many people believe that the agents and the sellers determine the price at which a property will sell. The truth of the matter is that the real estate market is like a stock market. The buyers, I repeat, the buyers, not the sellers or agents, determine whether a property is saleable in a given market. For example, if you paid $80,000 a share for an IBM stock and today it's selling for $50 a share, if you wanted to sell for $80 per share today, you wouldn't be a seller in today's market. The same is true for your real estate. The price you paid for the property has no bearing whatsoever on what the buyer will pay. It does make a difference in terms of your tax liability and a host of other issues, which you'll have to check with your accountants on. 10. Overestimating the value of your improvements or upgrades. Many sellers have a challenge understanding how the improvements or upgrades they have made to the property impact the value. Some improvements do increase value. Generally, these include adding square footage or bringing your property up to the standards as most other properties in the area. Most improvements, however, make your property more saleable, but they do not necessarily add to the value. For example, assume that you have a white travertine marble countertop throughout your home and distressed walnut floors. These features make your home more attractive to potential buyers, but normally don't add much to your sale price. The reason is that most improvements have no value to a buyer who prefers dark granite and plush carpets. Also, if you over-improve your property by making your home sustainably larger than that of your neighbors, you probably won't recoup that money either. 11. Testing the market. Sellers often want to test the market. Let's list it at a higher price for a few weeks and see what's happened. This is a huge mistake. Real estate professionals know that all listings have a honeymoon period, where the listing will have the most showings. This normally takes place during the first 30 days the property is on the market. The reason is that buyers who have not yet found a property attempt to see new listings as soon as they come on the market. This initial rush normally drops off after the first 30 days. After that, showings are normally limited to new buyers coming into the market. If you don't sell during the honeymoon period, there's a high probability that your property will be on the market for an extended period of time. You can generate additional interest with a price reduction, but it never creates the attention you receive when you first list the property. Those are the 11 mistakes that sellers make. Thank you for listening to Home Seller Episode 12, the 11 Home Selling Mistakes. We are grateful for the time you have taken to listen to this podcast, and we look forward to your input on what you would like to hear about in future podcasts. You can find show notes at www.homesellerhomebuyer.com. You can leave your comments, questions, and suggestions there, or you can email us at info, that's INFO, at homesellerhomebuyer.com. Don't forget to check out Castle Dream Real Estate if you're interested in buying or selling property in the greater Tampa area from Spring Hill, Florida to Sarasota, Florida. Or email them at info, that's INFO, at castledreamrealestate.com. Their website is castledreamrealestate.com. Tell your family, friends, and coworkers about Home Seller Homebuyer Podcast. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to the Home Seller Homebuyer Podcast and catch us on the next episode. Thank you for listening and stay informed.